Well, as you can see, I got my basic shape laid out to be sawn. One important thing on this, try to stay outside your lines, because you can always come back later and clean it up, but obviously if you cut too far in, it's difficult to repair. So I'm going to adjust my blade height, keep it down as low as possible, as always. Get better blade control. Make sure you got your glasses on and go to town. You notice every now and then I'm backing the saw out, because with the width of this blade, it doesn't really want to follow a radius very tight. So every now and then you back out, readjust it, tweak it where you need it, and then feed it back in. Important thing, especially when you're doing long continuous cuts like this, it gets a little boring after a while, and you just want to make sure that you don't inadvertently start feeding the metal too hard, because if you feed the metal too fast, it's going to tear your saw blade up. Okay. A good little trick that you can do when you're trying to follow a line like this, I've got a real narrow piece there where I got to start the blade. It's difficult to start the blade on an edge like this. So what you can do is turn the piece perpendicular to the blade and make yourself just a little notch. And that'll help you get the blade started on that sharp point there. If you can see that little sharp knife point there, to try to start the blade at that angle and get it started and going straight would be nearly impossible. That's why I put the little notches perpendicular to the line that I'm cutting, so I could get the blade started in there. Without that, I'd have never been able to start it that close. Okay, now we've gotten a point where the saw is preventing me from turning in the direction that I want to go. We'll just take it out and start from the other end. Important thing is not try to get too accurate. You can do a lot of cleanup, dress up later on with a grinder. It's a whole lot faster. If you try to get too accurate with this, you'll spend a whole lot of time and cutting close to the line and take a chance of messing up. So just give yourself plenty of room. We'll see later on how easy it is to dress all this stuff up. Now if you notice, I'm already running into a point to where the width of this blade won't allow me to follow that tight of a radius. I'm cutting along this radius line right here. So what I'll do, I'll have to come in and make some little slots or pie cuts perpendicular to this line, where I can cut those little pieces out and it'll give me a little room. In some areas I'll be pretty far away from the line, because again, the width of the blade just won't let you get in there, but that's real easy to clean up later on, so you don't need to be concerned about it now. Just get it as close as you can comfortably with what you got. I'm making all these little slots that allow me to go in there, and as I take each little one of those pieces out, it allowed me to turn my blade in there a little bit more, get a little bit closer. There you can see where I made all my individual cuts, and although it's a little rough, it's not exactly on the line. We left enough material there, we can go in there and grind that out later, make it perfectly smooth, stay right on the line, and it'll be just fine. There you have it, there's our first contour. Pretty straight, rough edges here and there, but like I said, later on we'll use some grinders and stuff and get it nice and smooth. It'll look great. Okay, I got my outside contour done. Now I'm going to cut the inside contour. This is inside radius here. That's a little bit more difficult because on the outside, if you fudge a little bit, it's usually to the outside of the line and it doesn't hurt you. But when you're cutting the inside, if you get your radius a little too tight and you don't watch it real careful, then you can cut into or past the line of where you really want it to be. So this being thinner material, you can fudge a little bit more and twist it. You just got to be careful you don't twist too much, because as you twist your part, you're twisting the blade. It doesn't twist this easy down here. That's what this support is for. This is fairly rigid. But as you start putting too much pressure on it, you twist the blade, you twist it too much, the blade will pop. And aside from being dangerous, that's about 30 bucks every time you pop one. So we'll go ahead and start cutting the inside radius. Okay, again, I'm at the limit of my cut. My piece is hitting the back side of the saw here. I can't go any further, can't turn any further. So we'll pull it out and start from the other end. All right, I gotta start on a sharp edge again. So I'm gonna put a little notch in it like I did last time so I can get in that sharp edge. And there you have it. Rough cut of the shape that we want. And again, we'll come in later with some grinders and sanders and smooth it all out and make it look pretty.